part of understanding the game of basketball is definitely a mental game. It's definitely understanding the game of basketball. Yes, it's about skills, and yes, it's about, learning the drills to enhance and increase your skills, but at the end of the day, that's why watching basketball really helps you. It helps you understand, helps you think like a basketball player. Or what I'm going to start to do is go through some tape. I'm going to go through practice tape. I'm going to go through summer sessions, go through different games that I captured last year, just to be talking about what's going on and understand what we're seeing and understand how to think about the game. Literally, I've got one of the games here from playoffs, and I want to talk about a few things. Hans here is coming down. Obviously, Hans was our best ball handler, so that's why he's playing the one position. Usually basketball is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 being your main ball handler, your point guard. Number 2 being your shooting guard. And number 3 being a forward, 4 being your power forward, and number 5 is usually your big, your center. So in this case, in this scenario, Hans is bringing the ball down. Okay, let's just kind of watch it first what happens. So as Hans is coming up, you see the defenders, the 3 defenders here, they're closing in on him. They're playing a zone. That's really the first thing that you should think on the court as an offensive player is you're coming down the court. What defense are they in? Are they in a zone? Are they in man-to-man? You're going to experience both zone and man-to-man. So you got to learn what the strategy is, and the coach would help you work through that and help understand how to break down those defenses. But in this scenario, they're playing a zone, and you can see them collapse on Hans. One thing I want to point out here is that Josh is coming across to fill this space, and that's great. What I was talking about a second ago is if you have a shot, go ahead and take the shot, okay? And in this case, Hans made the shot. Great shot, okay? Boom, there it is, went in. Here's play number 2. So in this play, you can see the defense is collapsing. So they're trying to double team. They're still in a zone. They've got 2, a man in the center, and then man's over here, right? 2 men over here. So you got 2 people collapsing on Hans, and so what Hans did is Hans decided to pass it over here to Mick. Boom, right there, gets it out, great pass. In this case, Mick takes it over to Josh. Okay. Now I sometimes think that in this scenario, Mick right here, nobody is really contesting him. Nobody is coming up. He's got that space. So he doesn't have to immediately take this pass, but I think he notices that Josh is open. Also, if you notice over here, look over here, Preston is way open over there. So Mick comes over there to Josh. Now, you can see this defender sliding over to protect the pass and giving Josh that shot. So again, I don't necessarily think that's bad because Josh has an open shot. I think he needs to obviously continue to shoot. He's going to miss this shot. Okay, so he misses it.
You've got his Mariella. That one's Blinky. That's Bootsy. That's Doug. And that one is Lollipop.
One thing about this is when Josh takes this 3, and at this point, everybody can see that Josh is taking a shot, okay? So on offense, when you see your teammate taking a shot, you need to crash the boards. You can see Hans right here is going to kind of slow down, and he watches the ball. He's just like assuming maybe that it's gonna go in. You can see Oliver here. Oliver is gonna crash. He's doing great. Mick is over here. Mick is crashing. He's in a good spot. But who needs to crash more? Outside guard Hans, right? Because when the ball comes his way, he's out of position, and this other guy's in position, and that other guy's going to get the rebound right there. So always crash the board, especially if you're on the other side of a shot. You recognize the shot goes up, you want to go forward and find a body. Hans needs to go find this guy. He needs to go in front of this guy and create contact and get in front of him. So rebounding, man, rebounding is huge. All right. Okay, here's play number 3, and one thing I want to point out about this is Josh is coming up with the ball. We said earlier that Josh probably is playing, like, in my mind, he's maybe playing like a 3 position, some sort of a forward position, but every player on the court needs to have dribbling skills to control the ball, to bring the ball up the court. Like, that's everybody, even the 5, even the center, even in this case Oliver. Like, all of us need to do a good job of developing our skills where we feel trusted enough where we can go up the court with the ball, not lose it, and control it. So let's see what happens. So Josh comes down the court, decides to take it left because he's a left-handed player. Okay, he's gonna pass it off to Mick. Okay, that defender is gonna. Mick is kind of doing a shot fake and a little. He's kind of like doing a little head nod. He makes this defender think that he's gonna take a shot. So the defender goes for the block, and then Mick goes around, which is nice. He goes around him. Okay, he's dribbling. He tries to make a stand, but he recognizes that guy's playing pretty good defense right on him. So he's gonna pass off to Josh. Now, as a offensive player, you gotta be aware of where your teammates are. So Mick knows that Josh is right there because he can see him, but I don't think he knows that Oliver is on the other side of these 2 defenders and Preston is on this side. What would have been better is if he comes down, he jumps, he doesn't pass it off to Josh, but he actually passes it over here, over the defense, right to Oliver for a layup. And like I've already mentioned, layups are a very high percentage shot. So the closer you can shoot to the basket, the more likelihood it's going to go in. Okay, so Josh gets it. Now Josh is it's kind of a bad pass because Josh has to go up for it, come back down, and he jumps quickly to take a shot. That shot is off balance, so it's going to be the likelihood of it going in again is not as high as it would have been if Oliver had that shot, or if Josh would have been able to set his feet. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, but at the same time, it's just an off balance shot. He gets it off, it goes over the goal, and you can see right here, Oliver is actually in pretty good position, although the other defender, if you look at number 3, right there, number 3 is going to creep in and start to box out Oliver. So boom, he gets in position. Okay, now Oliver still goes up. The defender right there jumps at the wrong time. Okay, he jumps early, then Oliver jumps. Boom, Oliver goes up. Now Oliver has his hands on the ball, but it goes through his hands, off the body, off the legs. The defender's got it. Okay, so really that's just about ball. That's really just about the ability to control the ball, grab the ball, go get the ball, and really be aggressive when it comes to rebounding. Okay, on this inbound play, the first thing I want to point out is that everybody is really bunched up. There's too many. Look at this. Like, Hans doesn't even really know what to do because none of our 3 players right here are doing anything. Preston is kind of moving along the baseline. Creating some sort of inbound strategy and knowing what to do when it's your turn to throw it in inbounds is really important. Okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, Hans does a great job because he's got great ball handling skills. He does a great job driving on the baseline and driving, and he could go up for a reverse layup right here. Okay, that is one option that he could do. The other thing is that because he's got great basketball IQ, he recognizes that Mick is over here open. So he goes in, drives, makes him think that he's going to do something. The defender collapses on him to block his shot. He passes off to Mick. But what do you notice about this pass? When we talk about passing has to be on target and on time. That's the common thing that people say. This is a good timing pass. The timing is right, but the direction is wrong. It's not on point. It's down by his legs. So if Hans can hit him more in his chest area, Mick is going to be able to catch it right there and go for a mid-range jumper. But because the ball is so super low, Mick has to go down for it unexpectedly. It goes off his feet. It's a turnover. So we always got to be aware, even when we're jumping to make a pass or overhead pass or whatever, passing has to be on time and on target. Otherwise, it's not going to go for you. I love this because this just reiterates what I've said earlier. Mick is coming up. He's taking the ball up. So that's the third person, 3 out of 5 that we've seen take the ball up. Okay, and so he's pushing it. He's got a wide open lane here. Let's see what happens. Right here, you can see that Mick looks back for a second. Boom, he looks back to check out where his defender is. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but at the same time, it does slow him down. What we'd rather have him do is just go full steam ahead, 100%. Don't slow down, as fast as you can, right to the goal, okay? Now he's gonna go, the other defender is gonna cut him off and block. Now, because he's looking back at number 3, he's not aware that this other guy, I don't know his number, but this other guy is coming up on his left side in front of him. Boom, gets the steal off his leg, turnover, okay? That was one of the things in this game that really hurt us, was all the turnovers that we did. Okay, boom, love this. Preston is bringing the ball up, okay? So we got Hans, we got Josh, we got Preston, we got Mick. Everybody has taken turns bringing the ball up, okay? So that's good. I like that. Okay, this is actually, I like what's happening here, okay? Preston's moving it over. I like how Preston moves after he makes a pass. He's not just standing right there at mid-court. He moves to the corner. Mick is going to catch him on the pass. Boom, got him right there. The defense, these two guys collapse on him because I guess they think he's going to take the shot. Preston recognizes that, passes it to Oliver. Boom, Oliver is 100% open at this point. He just needs to turn, go up strong for the layup. Okay. And now he does that. One thing about this is Oliver was so close to the goal that what I'd rather see him do is grab the ball and go up for a layup, go power up. What he does right here is he kind of stops for a little short range jumper. I don't know that I love that because I'd rather you do a strong layup than do a mid-range, a short-range jumper. He even misses this shot. I mean, he's a good shooter from that distance, but the other thing to say is Josh is completely wide open on the other side. So if Oliver is aware of that, what he should do is think he should go up like he's going to take a shot and then pass it across to Josh. Josh is a left-hand player. He's going to just nail that left-hand layup. Okay? So that's what could have happened. Now, again, in this scenario, I don't love how Hans is sitting back, okay? Hans should be more in this area, getting ready for a rebound or assuming that there's going to be a rebound or something. He could fill this space potentially for Josh or Oliver to pass it out to him for a shot, okay? But instead, he's watching. So don't catch yourself just watching the play unfold. Even if it's happening in front of you, you got to think ahead. You got to wonder, like, okay, what could happen? Could the rebound come my way? Or could they kick it out to me and I'd be ready for a shot or something? Oliver does a good job of getting his own rebound, putting it right back up. But that could have happened initially. This shot to me feels like Mick is just kind of like going for something, but what he could have done is continued to come up the middle of the court and done a like over the head floater in some way, because he's kind of out. He's not close to the rim on his second step, so he's got to make a move. But what he could do is, instead of the underhand thing, he could have done like a floater in the middle or something. It's just a little bit of a wild shot. Again, in this scenario, we've got Preston, Hans, Josh, all on the outside, just kind of watching the action, not crashing the boards, not going forward. It's okay. Sometimes you might think that you need to stay back because what if they get it and they push it forward? But at this level, you need to be in enough good shape to where you're going to have to hustle back if you're a little bit more forward than you are. So these three players right here should be crashing forward a little bit to help out. I mean, who's going to get this rebound? Look at this. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white shirts right there against 2 black shirts. Who's going to get that rebound? There's no way we're going to get that rebound. Okay?
It was yummy, but the yumminess never stopped a thing.
Okay, this is another example of an inbound play. I do like the idea of our best ball handler, our best basketball IQ player, which is Hans at this point, throwing it in because he's a good passer. He can make plays happen. He can do it. So I like that scenario, but I don't love the fact that the guys don't look like they know what to do in this scenario. Josh is standing there with his hand out, hoping that Hans will pass it to him, but Hans is hesitant because this guy is aggressive. This white shirt guy is all over him. Okay? And even right there, that's a dangerous pass. Okay? Hans could actually lead him more and throw it more further over his elbow because this whole space back here is open. So he can throw it a little bit further. Instead he throws it a little too close and now it's a turnover. One of the things that the team struggled with in this game was turnovers. Balls going through the hands, balls hitting the feet and kicking off, losing the dribble. There's just so many things that we did. If you can control the turnovers, don't give the other team extra shots, all right? This is not a bad decision. I like players taking shots if they have an open shot. I like players taking that shot and being confident. When you shoot, you should be confident that you're going to make it. And Hans, ultimately, he is confident, and I like to see that. So. Now, in this scenario, the offense is really just not running a play. They're not strategizing, they're not working together. It's really just a let's pass the ball around until someone gets open and hopefully they can take a good shot. So in this scenario, you even hear coach say on the sideline, do not shoot. So he's just encouraging Josh, hey, don't take that shot. Let's get something developed. Let's work as a team. Let's do some strategy or something there. But Josh, I know maybe he didn't hear coach say do not shoot because then right after he says do not shoot, he shoots. But I love this by Hans, okay? The other guy has better position for the rebound, but Hans does a good job of timing his jump perfectly and then tapping it out. And sometimes that's a good strategy, is to tap it out instead of just going up to grab it. And you can see it worked out this time because it goes straight to Preston. Everyone gets excited about shooting threes, and you know, we didn't make a lot of threes this year. We missed a lot of threes this year, and I think in this scenario it feels like we're just shooting a lot of threes and we're not trying to work a play to get someone a closer mid-range jumper or a close to the basket layup or something. So you just got to be careful in regards to just chunking up a three. A lot of times it just, and in this game particularly, we were shooting threes, we were not making threes. So as an offensive player, you have to make your layups. It's just a no excuse zone is what I would like to call it. If you're missing a layup, you're not focusing the whole way, like giving 100% of your focus to make sure that your touch is right, the power off the hand is just right. So like Josh missing a layup here. Josh is a left-handed player, so he goes to the left hand here. But if Josh was equally as strong on his right, or maybe like just, he's going to be as strong on his left because he's a left-handed basketball player. But if he had worked on his right hand layups, like a right-handed player might work on his left-handed layups, you need to get so developed on both sides that you wouldn't default to the left hand here. You would go the right hand and put the body on the other side as the right hand goes up, and you're going to make that shot. In this play, you're going to see Hans dribble it, make a few moves, dribble it to the middle of the paint, and then pass it off to Josh. What I want to bring your attention to is Oliver is right there, closer to the basket than Josh is, and so it's just it's a choice. It's a choice by Hans on who to pass it to, but I think the better pass would have been to Oliver. You can see he's going to drive, make a couple moves, get around some guys. Now right there, Oliver is right there. Josh is further away. And Hans is doing a no-look pass here. But I believe this is an example of trusting your teammates. Josh is a more athletic player than Oliver at this point. His shooting is probably a little bit better. And yes, he does make this shot, I think. But you have to trust your teammates. You have to trust, so like if a teammate who is quote unquote not as good as another player, if he's closer to the basket, I'm going to make that pass all day long because I want to trust that he's going to make that shot and get the bucket for us. So in this case, it's just I think it's a bad decision to go across Oliver to Josh. But what I'd love to see happen is go to Oliver right there, and Oliver is going to go up for a strong layup and make that bucket. Okay, this is just an example of Josh dribbling down. He does have good handles, but he does get out of control here and lose it a little bit. So that's just about knowing how to control the ball a little bit better, working on those skills. He gets fouled here. That's fine. Okay, this is a better inbound play than what we saw earlier because Josh makes he sprints out to the side. That's great. Oliver just moves his legs a little too much there, does the travel. Again, that's another turnover. In this case, Josh is dribbling up the court, gets it stolen from behind, so another turnover. This is just an ability to dribble up the court and not get it stolen away from you. I mean, we all need to work at this. We all need to be developed as players where we can control the ball and not get it stolen. I mean, there's a reason that in the NBA, most teams aren't going to do a full court press. It's because most players at that level, all players at that level, they can control the ball enough to where no one's worried about them losing the ball when they dribble it up. So when you're on a fast break, when you're going 100%, Josh is, I mean, he's dribbling 100% here, but they're just out beating him. They're out hustling, they're out running him, and they got the steal. Okay, I love this play, okay? There's not much developed here yet for the offense, so Preston is going to just push it forward and try to create some contact. I love this. The bucket doesn't go in. Maybe in the future it could have been a foul, but this is, I appreciate the aggressiveness and I like this a lot. I think his arm just got cut a little, his arm got hit a little bit out, otherwise he would have made that. I love this move. It's just a pump fake. It's just a shot fake. So Preston's gonna fake it. The defense overruns him, and so he's able to dribble around. That's the classic basketball move right there. Good job. This is actually a really good move, and I didn't notice this until now, but Preston, watch him go over his head, around Euro step with the rebound. That's a great move. That's just the instinct of trying to dribble around that guy, but you saw him take the ball over his head, dribble under, and go that way. Good job, Preston. I think sometimes when you're dribbling the ball up, our guys got a little bit timid, or they got a little bit nervous by the pressure. Just because this defender is right here on Mick, Mick decides to pick up the ball, and now he's going to need to pass it. He doesn't really need to do this. What Mick could do is just slow it down a little bit. Okay, maybe he like instead of going forward so fast, he just slows it down, dribbles for a second, gathers himself. But you can see that he just does a jumping pass here, and it was just not a good pass. It's just not a. That's what you want as a defense. Is you want the offense to be passing it in the air through the middle, basically, because it's easy for the defense to come through and make a steal. Now Preston gets it back, which is great. Passes it out to Josh. Not exactly sure what happened there. They must have called traveling on Preston. I don't really know what's happening. One thing I want to point out here is whenever the game is not going your way, or there's a turnover, or maybe you maybe you airballed it, or maybe you there's just a level of composure that we need to develop. You can see here in this, after they call whatever they call here, you can see Mick right here. He puts his hand on his head. You can tell that he's frustrated. He shrugs it off. Now that's not as bad as it could be, but at the same time, like, we need to try to do our best to gather our to increase in our maturity, and we can be frustrated, but let's do a good job of not lashing out or acting out in that way, basically.
The solution and save the day.
Most of the game at this point has been run and gun. I mean, most of it has been, we're pushing the tempo, fast breaks, trying to move as fast as we can. And you can see in this scenario, this is much different because Hans is basically bringing it down, setting up a play.
Thank you.
So Josh is going to come to the middle.
Lift up and lift off.
This is actually a good idea by Mick wanting to pass it to Josh, but he passes it kind of slow and in the air, and it's really not a strong, effective pass. And you can see it gives the defender time right here to jump in front and kind of mess up Josh a little bit.
All systems are go. Ready to launch.
Josh goes back to Mick. Mick goes over to Hans. Hans takes another three. Again, not a bad idea. Didn't make it. It's all good. You got a shot, take it. Josh gets fouled on the rebound. That's good. Okay, here's Preston coming down the court. One thing to point out here is that there's no real strategy. We're just dribbling around, passing it off to someone when we get in trouble. Maybe we'll be open to take a shot. Maybe we'll drive. It's just everybody's just doing their own thing. Okay. This is cool. Hans right here dribbles around to the left, but recognizes that Josh is open right here. Hits him with the no-look pass. Boom, right there. Josh goes up. Again, Josh is on the right side. So Josh is going up with his left hand. That doesn't make sense. If you're on the right side, go up with your right hand. And the reason you would do that is because you want to use your body to guard and to get away from the defender. As soon as I go with my left hand, the defender is right here. Okay? So we need to be careful and go with whatever side we're on. That's why as a right-handed player, you need to develop your skills on the left side. If you're a left-handed player, you need to spend a lot of your time developing your skills on the right side. All right, guys, that was the first half of that breakdown, and hope you're all doing well. Let's think about basketball. Let's understand what we need to do to get better at our craft, to get better at our game. And I think through thinking about these things and understanding these things, we're going to get better and better and better. That's all I got today. Peace.